What is good, you guys? Welcome back to the Heat Report. Welcome back to a brand new video. Yes, I am double uploading today because I was actually planning a video before the Dragic and Iguodala news came out. So I want to be giving you guys two videos today. So hopefully you guys enjoy those videos, and make sure y'all drop a like, subscribe, and comment down below. And as usual, follow my Twitter because it's going to be in the description. It's going to be in the pinned comment. You guys do not want to miss it. I'm going to be interacting with the fans as much as I can on there, tweeting out rants and stuff like that, and also promoting my videos. So if you guys are interested, if you guys have Twitter, I suggest highly to follow it. So we did talk a lot about players leaving the Heat in the last video, where we talked about Duncan Robinson, Kendrick Nunn, specifically talked about the Goran Dragic Iguodala contract situation, talked a little bit about Ariza, Dedmon, but we're going to be talking about players that have potential to come and join the Heat next year from other teams in free agency, because we haven't really mentioned a lot of these names before, and I want to talk about the likelihood of them joining the Heat before free agency starts at 6:30 or 6 p.m. tomorrow Eastern time. So let's get right into it, man. We're going to be talking about Kyle Lowry first, because Kyle Lowry is the name that has been on the lips of every Heat fan for the past how many ever hours since the Goran Dragic news broke out. And obviously Kyle Lowry, we all know he's been a target for Miami since the season began last year, and the interest for Kyle Lowry was playing with Jimmy Butler, his good friend. And according to Adam Barai, who's like I said, I've mentioned his name on this channel before. He's a very credible source from Bleacher Report, 5 Reasons Sports. "Quote unquote, we are getting closer to that becoming a reality, and although not finalized, only a major overpay could stunt this move." So looks like the Heat are probably going to get their man. The Heat look like they're in prime position to get Kyle Lowry. Obviously, they might pay a little bit more than we would like them to, but they're securing their player probably. And if they secure Kyle Lowry, it's a W for me. So we all wanted to improve this roster, and Kyle Lowry certainly does that. And it looks like it's the Heat are in prime position to make this happen. Now, according to Ira Winderman, who is also a very credible source, it now appears that it could be as simple as a Lowry to the Heat for Dragic and Ashua. So, it would be Dragic and Precious to match the salary with Lowry, and then Lowry would start at approximately $28 million, and then, the Heat would accommodate the third year and be hard capped, and Dragic would probably get bought out from the Raptors. Now, those are the two things I want to talk about. Lowry, it's been, going crazy recently over these past few hours with the Lowry rumors, and it looks pretty legit. I'm not going to lie. A lot of people are asking me, would you have to give up Hero in this deal? I don't think the Heat will. I think the Heat will probably give up Precious and Goran, but I don't think they will give up Hero. It's also been, said that a Heat sign and trade for Kyle Lowry is also able to include other teams, another third team if you need to match up salary, if you need to do anything like that. A third team can also be included in this situation. So just watch out for this Kyle Lowry news. I expect something to happen very soon. It's like in the next few days. I expect something to happen big around this situation, whether it's Kyle Lowry or anyone else. I expect something to happen. So this is what my thoughts are about this situation. I would love Kyle Lowry on the Heat. Obviously, I was not a big fan of paying him $30 million, but if you get your guy, you get your guy. And we might have to overpay to get our guy, but that's fine. It looks like we're gonna get our guy, and I'm not too mad about that. Now, obviously, if Lowry does not work out, if Lowry decides to go somewhere else, because like I said, a major overpay could stunt this move. If the Pelicans throw him a big bag and he can't refuse it, we might have to go for someone else. So we'll have to figure out, some backup contingency plans if the Lowry situation does not work out. We can't throw all our eggs in the Lowry basket, and then somehow if he decides to go somewhere else or surprisingly stay in Toronto, we're going to be left with, we're going to be left looking stupid. So we got to figure out what we're going to be doing in all different scenarios. There's also been rumors about Demar DeRozan. This is specifically from 5 Reasons Sports, but has also traveled to multiple other credible outlets like Mark Stein, talking about the Heat are trying to pair DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry back together in Miami. Now, this is very interesting because I think the Heat know what they're doing. Obviously, DeRozan and Lowry are great friends, and having Lowry on the Heat would be a great sales pitch for DeRozan to come here. So I think Pat Riley knows what he's doing with this, and I think that DeRozan, a lot of people talk about the lack of spacing or whatever with DeRozan, Jimmy, Bam, but you still have Lowry, you can shoot the ball, and then whoever your shooting guard is, because they said even with DeRozan and Lowry, the Heat can still find a way to get Duncan Robinson back on the team. I'm not too worried about the spacing then. And I still think the spacing is like a very minute issue. Like, I think that if you have talent, good players figure it out. Like, and, you know, DeMar DeRozan as a power forward, or because I think that's where he'll probably play if he's on this team. You probably have Lowry at the 1, obviously Jimmy at the 3, and then you have Bam at the 5. I still think that they're probably going to roll out with Duncan Robinson next year. I think Duncan will be back on the team. I know people say that the contract, the money does not work, but you can still go into the luxury tax to keep Duncan Robinson. So I'm not worried about that situation. And DeMar DeRozan did say he's willing to take a pay cut. I don't think he'll take $5 million like what the Lakers were offering him, but I think that if we offer him about 15, he might be willing to take it to play with his best friend. So if he's on this team, he'll probably be playing power forward or shooting guard. So whoever's our 2 or 4, if he's on this team, is gonna have to stretch the floor, and I think they will do that. So good players will figure it out, man. Good players will definitely figure it out, and I think that talent is just the building block, and you cannot beat. You know, obviously the fit and chemistry and all that is important, but the number one thing you need in the NBA to succeed is talent, and DeMar DeRozan is a very talented NBA player. So I would love DeRozan on the Heat. Obviously, there was some stuff about Iguodala's team option being declined that might make this a little bit harder, because he would probably have been used in a potential sign and trade deal. But this probably could still work out, because Iguodala is already gaining interest from the Warriors. So if he goes to the Warriors send Kelly Oubre to the Spurs, and the Spurs send DeMar DeRozan to the Heat, there could be some 3-team, you know, not a trade because Iguodala is a free agent, but it could be a sign and trade. It could be a sign and trade if Iguodala agrees to go to the Warriors and Oubre agrees to go to the Spurs, and then the Spurs send DeRozan to the Heat. Obviously not straight up, but we'll have to throw in some more assets, obviously. But I think that could be the start. Like, they probably want like KZ or someone like that. And I think DeRozan is possible, but not as high of a possibility as Lowry, if that makes any sense. Also, I did want to talk about, like I said, some of the more incoming guys, the rumors that have been going around. First thing, we're going to be talking about Rudy Gay. Rudy Gay has been a name that has been mentioned by multiple outlets. Now, obviously, Rudy Gay is a name that has been mentioned for the Lakers as well. And I would love Rudy Gay on this team. I even talked about the trade deadline Rudy Gay as a name that I would like. So my stance has not changed. Rudy Gay is a very good stretch 4, and he can also defend to have. And I still think that Rudy Gay, if we can do something with Rudy Gay and DeRozan coming to the Heat, I would love it, because then you could probably move Jimmy to the 2 or DeRozan to the 2, have the other one at the 3, and probably have Gay at the 4 with Bam. I would like that. I would not be mad at that. And Rudy Gay, like I said, would be a great name to have, sort of at like that $10 million a year range. Anything more than 15 for Rudy Gay, I would not want to pay. I think somewhere in that 10 to 12 range is probably my, a good estimate of where I think Rudy Gay is probably going to get paid this year. But who knows? He might take even less. Nick Batum, the second name, has been also brought out by some Heat outlets and also by guys like Chris Haynes and stuff like that. Nick Batum's a good player. He's a good player. I think he can stretch the floor, play defense. Like I said, another 3-and-D player to have. Probably a lot cheaper than Rudy Gay because he's younger. Jeff Green, I think Jeff Green was a big part of the Nets, but I think he'll probably stay with the Nets because he's friends with Kevin Durant, and they'll probably try to keep him. So I don't know if we're going to be getting Jeff Green. Malik Monk, interesting. Malik Monk is interesting. From being a Heat killer to potentially wearing a Heat uniform. That is crazy. I would love Malik Monk on the team. I think Malik Monk is a bucket getter that we could use off the bench if we need one. And yeah, I still think that Malik Monk, with his friendship with Bam, and they went to the same university together, I think that I would love Malik Monk on the Heat. Obviously, the Hornets declined his team option, but I think that Malik Monk, if we can get him for cheap, he would be a great option to have because he's a bucket getter. Otto Porter, he's a guy that has been, rumored to have been wanting the mid-level exception. I would love it. Otto Porter is a guy, another 3-and-D player. 3-and-D player who can do a little bit of everything. And I think that Otto Porter would be a nice player to complement Jimmy and Bam. And I would not be mad. Otto Porter was another name that I was talking about at the trade deadline as well. Him and Rudy Gay were two of the names that I was mentioning. I think along with Thaddeus Young and Aaron Gordon, those were the two the four names that I was talking about the Heat to get. Obviously, they got Ariza and Bielitsa instead. We'll have to figure out what they do with both of those players. But I think this is a good start. Andre Drummond is the last name that I have been seeing. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want Drummond anywhere near this team. Drummond, I don't know how that would work. You probably have to move Bam to the 4 and then have Drummond at the 5, or probably have Drummond as a backup center. As a backup center, I wouldn't mind, but I think Drummond wants to be a starter, and I don't think he'd come to the Heat to be a backup. If he's a starter, I don't think it'll work out whatsoever. You move Bam to the 4, Drummond to the 5. None of them can shoot. Jimmy can't shoot. DeRozan can't shoot threes. So the only player that can shoot threes is Lowry. Whereas if you have a Rudy Gay, Nick Batum at the 4, Jeff Green at the 4, Malik Monk at the 2, Otto Porter at the 4, Duncan Robinson at the 2, these guys are all players who can space the floor. And that's really important on a team with 3 non-shooters. So I would not mind Andre Drummond to come off the bench, but I don't think he would be willing to accept that role. And I think Dwayne Dedmon has already been a good fit to us, and I hope we bring Dwayne Dedmon back, because I think he'd be an amazing player for our team. Even because Precious is most likely about to be packaged in that deal with Goran Dragic to get Kyle Lowry, so we need a backup big, and I think it could be like Dwayne Dedmon or Bobby Portis or someone like that. So I would love all these guys on the team except for probably Andre Drummond, because unless he's going to be coming here as a backup center, I would not want him here. But we'll see what happens with that. A couple of people in the comments were asking me about Andre Drummond to the Heat, and I was like, I don't think it's gonna happen, man, because he already talked about on his Instagram. He was like, I'm not taking a cheap deal or whatever. I need some, I need my money. I need some opportunity. He doesn't sound like a guy who's going to be willing to come to the Heat, so I don't think that Drummond will be a possibility for the Heat this year. Hopefully, if we get him in, it's as a backup. But yeah, that's probably it for the video. I talked about some outgoings, but I did mostly talk about incomings to the team. And it's going to be a wild ride, free agency. I was thinking about doing something where like I went live, but I don't know how that works out, because people can just get signed at like random points of time. I think that would probably be better for like trade deadline instead of for the free agency period, because trade deadline's only one day. So I'll probably not do that, but I will be making a video like as soon as something happens. You best believe I'm on that. So hopefully you guys enjoy the video, and leave a like, subscribe, comment down below, and I'll see y'all later as always. Peace.